The forest was silent. Too silent. Human soldier Ethan Ward walked slowly between the broken trees, holding his scanner in one hand and his rifle in the other. Smoke still floated in the air. The ground was black. A few hours ago, this place was a peaceful alien village. Now it was only ashes and shadows. Ethan came here to look for survivors. But so far, he'd found nothing. No bodies, no voices, no movement. Just destruction. He took another step forward, and suddenly his device beeped. A life signal. Very weak, very close. Ethan stopped. He raised his weapon and looked around carefully. Maybe it was an enemy. Maybe it was a trap. The forest burned. Only hours before, who could have survived? He walked toward the signal, pushing branches aside. And then he heard it. A soft, shaking breath. Not human. Not adult. Not dangerous. He lowered his weapon and followed the sound until he reached a small clearing and froze. There, curled under a half-burnt tree trunk, sat a young alien girl. Bare. Alone. Terrified. She wrapped her arms tightly around her body, trying to hide herself from the cold air. Her skin had faint glowing patterns, like markings of her species. Her hair was long, dirty, and tangled. Her eyes were wide with fear. She had nothing, no clothes, no food, no protection. Just fear, just pain, just a heartbreaking story Ethan didn't know yet. He slowly stepped forward, careful not to scare her. But she flinched anyway, like she expected to be hit or taken away. Her breathing got faster. Her body shook. Ethan lifted both his hands to show he meant no harm. Hey, it's okay, he said gently. I'm not here to hurt you. The girl didn't understand his words, but she understood his tone. Her eyes looked confused, scared, and hopeless. He took off his military jacket, heavy, warm, large, and placed it on the ground in front of her. Then he stepped back. At first, she didn't move. She only looked at the jacket like she wasn't sure if she was allowed to touch it. Then, slowly, she reached out and pulled it toward herself. The moment the fabric touched her skin, she closed her eyes. Relief washed over her face. Ethan saw her ribs. She was starving, weak, maybe sick. Who did this to you? He whispered. Her lips opened, but no words came out, only a small, broken sound. He kneeled down, staying at a safe distance. My name is Ethan, he said softly. You're safe. Now, the girl stared at him with trembling eyes. Then she finally spoke, her voice almost too soft to hear. Please, don't send me back. Ethan's heart dropped. Back where? He asked. She shook her head quickly, terrified, as if even saying the name would bring monsters out of the shadows. Ethan tried another question. Are you alone? This time she nodded slowly, tears forming in her eyes. He swallowed. Something was very, very wrong here. He checked the scanner again. Only one life signal, hers. Everyone else in the village gone. I'm going to help you, he said. I promise. The girl hesitated, then whispered something in her language. Ethan's translator caught it slowly. My name. Lyria. Ethan smiled sadly. Lyria, that's a beautiful name. She looked at him like no one had ever said something kind to her before. He noticed burn marks on her legs, dirt on her arms, and bruises, old ones. Someone had hurt her long before this attack. Someone cruel. Lyria pulled the jacket tighter and tried to stand up, but her legs shook too much. She almost fell, and Ethan instinctively stepped forward and caught her. For a second, she froze in fear, but when he didn't hurt her, when he only held her gently so she wouldn't fall, she slowly relaxed in his arms. Her body was cold. Too cold. He lifted her carefully. She was light, too light for her size. Hunger had eaten her strength. As he held her, she whispered again. They took my people, all of them. Ethan's jaw tightened. Who? He asked. Before she could answer, The bushes behind them, RUSTL, ED. Ethan turned, weapon up, heart. RACING, a cold wind moved through the trees. For a moment, everything was deathly silent again. Then Lyria's fingers gripped his shirt tightly. They come back, she said with a trembling voice. Ethan slowly backed away with her in his arms. Stay calm, he whispered. I won't let anyone take you. But then his scanner beeped again. Not one signal, not 2.6, moving fast. The sane people who destroyed her home were returning. Ethan's mind raced. He looked down at Lyria, a starving girl with nothing, yet somehow still alive when her entire village wasn't. Why did they want her? Why was she the only survivor? And what horrible truth was she too scared to say? He adjusted his grip on her, turned toward the evacuation path, and whispered, I'm getting you out of here, even if I have to fight them all. Behind him, glowing red eyes appeared in the shadows, and the hunt began. Ethan ran through the burnt forest with Lyria in his arms, his footsteps fast and quiet. The enemy signals on his scanner kept getting closer. Whoever was coming, they were not normal soldiers. Their movements were too fast, too precise. Lyria hid her face in Ethan's chest, breathing shakily, as if every sound in the forest reminded her of something terrible. When they reached a small cave between two rocks, Ethan gently placed her down and blocked the entrance with broken branches. It wasn't perfect, but it would hide them for a moment. Lyria sat against the wall, clutching his jacket tightly. Ethan crouched in front of her. Lyria, listen. I need to know who they are. Why are they chasing you? Her eyes widened, filled with fear. I cannot say, she whispered. Why? They hear everything, she said, pointing at the sky. Ethan frowned. Did she mean satellites, drones, or something worse? He tried another question. Your people, the village. What happened? Lyria closed her eyes, and for a few seconds she didn't speak. Then she finally whispered, They took all of us, captured us, used us. Her voice almost broke on the last word. Ethan felt anger rise in his chest. How did you escape? He asked. She looked up slowly, guilt in her eyes. I did not escape, she said. They released me because they thought I was useless. Ethan's eyes widened. Useless? Lyria nodded painfully. They test us. The strong ones, they take. The weak ones, they throw away. Her hands trembled as she held the jacket. I was the weakest. Ethan clenched his teeth. No one deserved this. No girl should be treated like dirt. And yet, she spoke like she believed she truly was worthless. They were wrong, Ethan said firmly. You are not weak. She didn't answer. She didn't believe him. He checked the scanner again. 5 enemy signatures were circling the forest. He grabbed a small portable shield generator and placed it in front of Lyria. This will protect you for a few seconds if something happens. Do not move unless I say so. Lyria grabbed his wrist suddenly. No. They will kill you. They always kill humans first. Ethan smiled a little. Not me, I've survived worse. But Lyria shook her head quickly. You don't understand. They want me because of what I am, and what are you? Ethan asked gently. Lyria slowly lifted her hands. And for the first time Ethan saw it. Her skin markings were glowing brighter now. Not from fear, but from power. A soft blue light spread through the cave, almost like stars forming on her skin. Ethan froze. Her species, her markings. He remembered reading about this in old human files. There were rumors about an ancient alien, race extinct for over 700 years, known for powerful energy abilities. But no one had ever found a surviving member. Until now. Lyria covered her glowing skin quickly, ashamed. This is why they want me. They take my people's power, they drain it. They use it for war. Ethan finally understood. She wasn't just a lost girl. She was a key, a living battery, a rare treasure for cruel armies. And you survived, Ethan said quietly. Because they believed your power was too weak? Lyria nodded. They kept testing me. I failed every time. Ethan looked into her frightened eyes. Or maybe, he said, you didn't fail. Maybe you hid your power so they wouldn't take you. Lyria blinked, confused. No one had said that to her before. Suddenly, the scanner beeped sharply. One enemy signal was right outside the cave. Without thinking, Ethan covered Lyria with his arm and raised his weapon silently. Lyria pressed her forehead to his shoulder, whispering, "Please don't die." The footsteps outside stopped. Silence. Then a low metallic voice spoke. "We know the girl is with you, human. Step out, and we may let you live." Ethan whispered, "Lyria, stay behind me." But Lyria slowly shook her head, her eyes glowing again. "I cannot let you die because of me." Before Ethan could stop her, she pressed her hand against the cave wall. A pulse of blue light spread across the stone, soft but powerful. Outside, the enemy soldiers stumbled back, confused. Ethan stared at Lyria in shock. "You said you were weak," he whispered. Lyria looked at her glowing hand, scared of her own power. "I don't know how long I can use it," she said. "It hurts every time." Ethan placed his hand on her shoulder. "Then you won't use it," he said. "Not alone, not anymore." She looked up at him, hope in her eyes for the first time. But hope lasted only 1 second. The cave entrance exploded. The enemies had found them, and the real battle was about to begin. The explosion shook the cave. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lyria gasped as the shockwave hit her fragile body. Ethan moved instantly. He grabbed her wrist and pulled her deeper into the cave, away from the collapsing front section. Outside metal boots hit the ground. 5 enemies, closing in. Ethan activated the emergency smoke field. A thick white fog filled the entrance, blocking visibility. He held Lyria close. "Stay behind me," he whispered. Lyria's voice trembled. They never stop. They never stop hunting." Ethan placed a finger on his lips. "They'll have to go through me first." The enemies fired blindly into the cave, bright red beams slicing through the smoke. The ground shook again. Lyria covered her ears, shaking violently. Every blast reminded her of the prison camps of cold floors, electric sounds, and metal cages where she wasn't even allowed to cry. Ethan noticed her fear. He gently placed his hand on her cheek. "Hey, look at me," he said softly. "You're safe, I promise." His words made her freeze. Safe? No one had ever said that to her before. Not once in her life. Something inside her chest tightened. Something new. Something she didn't have a name for. Outside, the enemies reloaded. Ethan knew they had only seconds before the next assault. He opened a hidden passage behind the rocks, a narrow tunnel created by local wildlife. It was dark and cold, but it led deep into the mountain. Ethan lifted Lyria again. "Hold on." Lyria hesitated, gripping his jacket. Why do you help me?" Ethan didn't stop moving. "Because you deserve to be helped." Lyria looked confused. "I don't understand. No one ever has?" he asked. She shook her head. Ethan swallowed. "Then I'll show you." He carried her deeper into the tunnel. Her small hands held onto his shirt tightly, not from fear anymore, but trust. It was the first time she had ever trusted a human. After several minutes, they reached a hidden emergency shelter, a small metal room built by explorers decades ago. Inside were a heater, medical supplies, clean water, and emergency rations. Ethan gently placed Lyria on a soft blanket. The simple contact of fabric under her skin made her shiver. It had been years since she felt anything soft. Ethan poured water into a cup and held it out. "Drink," he said. Lyria stared at the cup like it was a trap. "You think I'd poison you?" Ethan asked softly. She shook her head. "No, I think it is too much. Too good. Her voice cracked. Ethan knelt beside her. Lyria, this is normal for humans. Kindness is normal. She looked down at the cup, then slowly lifted it with both hands. When the water touched her tongue, her eyes widened. She drank greedily, like someone who never expected water again. Ethan broke a nutrition bar in half and handed it to her. She ate slowly at first, then faster, then stopped suddenly, looking ashamed. Sorry. I am not supposed to eat fast. They punished us. For that. Ethan's hands curled into fists. Who punished you? She looked away. The ones who took us. They said we must act small, weak, quiet. Ethan took a deep breath to control his anger. He gently placed his hand on her shoulder. You're not weak. And you don't have to be quiet anymore. Lyria's eyes filled with tears she didn't allow to fall. She whispered, Why are you different from them? Because I'm human, Ethan said simply. Humans protect those who need help. Lyria stared at him like she was trying to memorize his words, trying to memorize the feeling of kindness. Suddenly, her skin markings glowed again, this time. Not from fear, but from a strange warmth rising inside her. Ethan noticed it. Does it hurt? She shook her head slowly. No, it feels warm. Like comfort. Her species markings reacted to emotions. And for the first time in her life, they glowed because she felt safe. Ethan smiled softly. Good, that means you're healing. But before the moment could settle, Ethan's communicator beeped sharply. He looked at it, and his face turned serious. The enemy had reached the mountain. They were scanning the tunnels. And they were coming. Fast. Lyria grabbed Ethan's arm, fear returning instantly. Please, don't let them take me back. Ethan placed both hands on her shoulders, looked straight into her glowing eyes and said, I won't. I swear on my life. Lyria's breath stopped. No one had ever sworn anything for her. Outside, heavy footsteps echoed through the tunnels. The enemies were seconds away. Ethan stood, loaded his rifle, and moved in front of her. Lyria's markings glowed brighter, this time. Not from fear, but from the beginning of courage. The metal floor vibrated under Ethan's boots. The hunters were inside the tunnels now, searching, scanning, following the faint energy trail Lyria left behind. Ethan checked his weapon one last time. Lyria watched him with wide, trembling eyes. You cannot fight them, she whispered. They don't die like normal soldiers. Ethan gave her a calm look. Everything dies when it hurts enough. Lyria shook her head. Not them. They are not alive the same way we are. They are made for killing. Ethan stepped closer, placed his hand on her shoulder, and whispered, Then I'll be something they've never met. A human who doesn't back down. Her glowing markings lit up again, this time brighter from the strange mix of fear and admiration rising inside her. The hunters arrive. The heavy footsteps grew louder. Louder. Then stopped just outside the shelter door. A cold metal voice echoed, Lyria 7, surrender, you belong to us. Lyria's entire body froze. Ethan stood in front of her, blocking her from view. He raised his rifle, jaw tight. Another hunter spoke, voice deeper, almost robotic. Human, step aside. That creature is property. Ethan's eyes flashed with anger. Her name is Lyria, and she's not property. A short pause. Then the hunters laughed, a chilling mechanical sound, like broken radios. Humans. Always protecting things they don't understand. Ethan didn't flinch. I don't need to understand her to know she deserves freedom. The hunters stepped forward. Ethan fired first. The first Fige cacti. The shelter exploded into chaos. Red lasers cut through the air. Sparks flew. Metal screamed. The room filled with smoke and fire. Ethan rolled to the side, grabbed a fallen shield plate, and used it as cover. He fired back, his shots hitting the hunters' armor, but barely slowing them. Lyria clutched Ethan's jacket around her body, tears falling silently. Every gunshot reminded her of her past. Every scream shook her core. She whispered to herself, "He will die because of me." Her markings flickered. Her heart raced. Her power, the one she always hid, was waking up. Ethan as HE1 of the hunters broke through the smoke. Ethan turned too slow. A metal arm slammed into his side, throwing him across the room. He hit the wall hard, gasping in pain. Lyria screamed, "Ethan!" The hunter lifted Ethan by his throat. Ethan kicked, punched, struggled. But the creature didn't feel pain. "You protect her," the hunter said. "That is illogical," Ethan choked out. "Human logic is different." The hunter tightened its grip. Lyria cried out, struggling to stand. "Stop! Leave him!" The hunters turned toward her. The specimen is awake. Her markings glowed. Her breath trembled. Her fear mixed with something new, anger. Lyria's power she raised her hand without understanding how. Blue light burst from her fingers. The hunters stumbled back, their armor sizzling with energy. Ethan dropped to the ground coughing and stared in shock. "Lyria, that was you?" She didn't understand the power. She didn't control it. But she knew one thing. She refused to let Ethan die because of her. Her glowing skin brightened until the room looked like a sky full of stars. One hunter screamed, "Contain her!" Level 4 energy flux detected. But Lyria stepped forward slow, shaking but determined. "You hurt my people, you hurt me. And now you hurt him." Her small body shook harder, but she didn't stop. "I will not be your prisoner anymore." Her voice was soft, but her power was not. She slammed her hands together. A shockwave exploded outward. The hunters were thrown back like metal dolls. Ethan shielded his eyes as the blue light filled the whole shelter. The after him, when the light faded, 3 hunters were on the floor, twitching. Their armor was cracked. Smoke rose from their circuits, but Lyria collapsed to her knees, breathing hard. Her body looked fragile again, the glow fading. Ethan rushed to her. "Lyria, hey, stay awake." She looked up weakly. "I didn't mean to use so much." Ethan held her gently. "You saved my life." She blinked, confused. "No, humans don't say that. Humans in the camps. They said we were dangerous." Ethan shook his head. "Then they weren't real humans." Lyria leaned against his chest, eyes half closed. "Ethan, I am scared. My power, it hurts." Ethan lifted her in his arms again. "I don't care how powerful you are. I don't care what they want from you. You're still just a girl who needs help," she whispered softly. "And you're the first person who ever helped me." Ethan carried her out of the burning shelter, but as he stepped into the tunnel, his scanner beeped again. Dozens more hunters, marching, coming straight for them. Lyria opened her eyes weakly. "They will not stop, Ethan, until they take me again." Tightened his grip on her. "Then they'll have to go through an entire human army." And he kept walking, straight into the darkness, straight into danger, straight into the next fight. For a girl who had nothing but now had him. Ethan ran through the narrow tunnels, carrying Lyria in his arms. The emergency lights flickered overhead, painting the walls red and white. Behind them, the sound of marching metal feet echoed through the darkness. Dozens of hunters. Faster. Stronger. Angrier. They weren't just searching now, they were hunting. Lyria's head rested against Ethan's shoulder. Her breathing was shallow, her markings dim. Using her power had drained everything inside her. "Ethan," she whispered weakly, "you should leave me." He didn't slow down. "Not happening," he said firmly. "I don't leave people behind." "You will die," she said softly. "They will kill you because of me." Ethan tightened his grip on her. "Then they'll have to try harder." Lyria didn't understand humans. She didn't understand why he cared. She only understood one thing. No one had ever held her like this. No one had ever protected her. No one had ever said she mattered. The tunnel lens, as they reached, a split in the tunnels, left blocked by fallen rocks. Right open, but leading toward a dead zone with no exits. The hunters were close behind. Ethan could hear their metal footsteps ringing like war drums. He made a quick choice. He slid into the right tunnel, set Lyria gently on the ground, and placed explosive charges along the ceiling. "What are you doing?" Lyria asked, scared. "Buying us time." He triggered the switch. Bool, the tunnel behind them collapsed in a cloud of dust and falling stone. The hunters were trapped for now, but Ethan knew they would dig through. They always did. He turned to Lyria. "Can you walk?" she tried. Her legs shook and she fell to her knees. Ethan caught her instantly. "It's okay, I've got you." Lyria looked up at him with confused, emotional eyes. "Why are you so kind to me?" Ethan gave a small smile. "Because humans aren't monsters. At least, the good ones aren't." Her heart felt warm in a way she didn't understand. The dead Zioani they entered a huge underground chamber, a cavern glowing with strange blue crystals. The air was warmer here, safer, but Ethan recognized the place. "This is a dead zone," he said. "No comms, no backup, no maps." Lyria lowered her head. "I am sorry, I slowed you." Ethan touched her chin gently, making her look at him. "You didn't slow me. Saving you is not a burden." Her markings glowed faintly at his touch. Suddenly a distant rumble shook the cave. The hunters had broken through the collapse. Lyria grabbed Ethan's arm, terrified. "They're coming." Ethan stood, placing her behind him. "Then they'll face something they've never fought before." Lyria blinked. "What?" Ethan pulled out 2 energy grenades, 3 shock charges, and his plasma rifle. An angry human. The battle began as the hunters stormed into the chamber, one after another, red eyes glowing. Ethan fired first. Explosions lit the cave, sending shockwaves across the crystals. But the hunters moved like shadows fast. Silent, deadly. One jumped at Ethan. Ethan rolled, grabbed a crystal shard from the ground, and stabbed it into the creature's eye. Sparks flew. The hunter collapsed. Lyria watched, shocked. She had never seen a human fight like this, fearless, determined, unbreakable. More hunters attacked. Ethan fought them all, even when his arms trembled, even when he bled, even when he could barely breathe. He fought because she needed him. Lyria's power awakens. AGA on the air vibrated. The crystals HUMMED.LYR. I felt a pull. Like the cave itself was calling to her. Her markings glowed brighter than before. Her voice shook. "Ethan, this place, it reacts to me." The hunters turned toward her, red eyes shining. Primary target located. One hunter charged her. Ethan tried to intercept, but another slammed him against the wall. Lyria screamed, "Ethan!" The fear, the pain, the memory of being powerless. It all crashed inside her, and something snapped. Her body glowed like a star. The crystals around her lit up. Energy rose from the ground, soft at first, then violent. A wave of blue power burst outwards. Hunters flew back. Armor cracked. Circuits burned. Ethan shielded his eyes. When the light faded, the entire chamber looked destroyed. But Lyria collapsed again, weaker than before. Ethan rushed to her side. "Lyria! Stay with me." Her breathing was soft and uneven. "It hurts." "When I use it." Ethan pulled her close. "Then don't use it unless you have to." She looked at him with tired eyes. "I want to help you. I don't want you to die." Ethan brushed her hair gently. "I'm not dying today. Not while you're here with me." For a moment, she felt safe, but then Ethan's scanner beeped again. He looked at the display and froze. A massive signature was approaching, bigger than all the hunters combined. Lyria's eyes widened. They sent him. The warden, Ethan frowned. Who is that? Lyria trembled. The one who controls the hunters. The one who tortured us. The one who drains our power. The one who created me. Ethan's blood ran cold, and he is coming. The ground shook violently. The warden had arrived. The ground trembled again, slow, heavy, controlled. This time the sound was not multiple footsteps, but one being, one presence. One monster. Ethan held Lyria tightly. She clutched his shirt. With weak fingers, her body shaking. He's here. She whispered, voice breaking. The warden. Ethan positioned himself between her and the tunnel opening. But even he felt the air change like something. Ancient and poisonous had entered the chamber. A shadow appeared, then metal. Then eyes. Too long. Vertical red slits glowing like burning knives. The warden stepped forward, tall, towering, built from dark biomechanical armor and living shadow. He wasn't just a machine or a creature. He was both. Trapped together, twisted, perfected for cruelty. His voice was deep and cold. Where are IA-7, the missing asset? Lyria's markings flickered with terror. Ethan raised his weapon. One step closer, and you're done. The warden tilted his head slowly, studying Ethan like a scientist studying a bug. Human, you interfere with my work. Your work? Ethan snapped. You destroyed her home. You tortured her people. The warden answered calmly. Correction, we harvested them. Their energy is efficient. She is the last viable source. Lyria's eyes filled with tears. Stop. Please. Stop. Ethan's jaw tightened. The warden ignored her. You used more power than expected, he said. That means your capacity has increased. Good. You will serve your purpose now. Lyria curled into herself, whispering, No, no. Ethan stepped forward. She's not going anywhere with you. The warden's eyes glowed brighter. You think you can stop me, human? No, Ethan said. I know I can. The warden raised one metallic hand and with a flick of his fingers, sent a wave of invisible force across the room. Ethan was thrown across the chamber, slamming into crystal walls. Ethan! Lyria screamed. He groaned, trying to stand, but the warden's telekinetic force pinned him down. Lyria desperately crawled toward him. Let him go, please. The warden's gaze turned to her. Do you beg for the human? She nodded, tears falling. Please, he helped me. The warden leaned closer. You are not meant to feel. You are not meant to bond. Lyria whispered, but I did. The warden stiffened. His voice turned colder, almost furious. You formed an emotional link. Ethan struggled. What does that mean? Lyria looked down, ashamed. Warden created us, she whispered. We are not born, we are made, engineered, but sometimes one of us makes a bond with someone outside the hive. The warden hissed, a defect. Lyria covered her face. I am the defect. Ethan's eyes widened. They didn't imprison her. They rejected her because she was capable of love, because she cared, and that made her dangerous to them. The warden extended a hand toward Lyria. You belong to me. Come. Lyria shook, too weak to fight, too scared to run. And then Ethan snapped free of the telekinetic hold, lifting his rifle again. You don't own her. The warden turned slowly. Humans break easily. Ethan smirked through. Blood on his lips. Try me. The warden thrust his hand forward. A blast of dark energy hit Ethan. His armor cracked. He fell to his knees. Lyria screamed, Stop hurting him. Her markings exploded with light, blinding, bright, powerful. The warden snarled. You dare defy your creator? Lyria stood. Her legs trembled. Her body shook. But for the first time, she stood between Ethan and danger. I don't belong to you, she said softly. Her entire body glowed. I belong to myself. The warden took a step back. Your power will kill you. Lyria wiped tears. Then I will die free. Ethan, still on the ground, whispered, Lyria, don't. She looked down at him, eyes glowing like stars. You saved me. Now I save you. The warden roared, lifting both arms to release a massive blast. But before he could fire, Lyria pressed her hands together. A sphere of pure blue energy formed between her palms. The cave shook. Crystals cracked. The air trembled. The warden stared in shock. Impossible. You were designed to be weak. Lyria's voice was calm. I was designed wrong. And she unleashed the energy. A shockwave slammed into the warden, sending him crashing. Through crystal pillars, for the first time. Lyria had struck him. The warden rose slowly, his armor cracked, his eyes burning with rage. If you choose rebellion. He pointed a finger at Ethan. He will die first. Lyria stepped in front of Ethan instantly, hands shaking, markings dimming. She had used too much power. She couldn't do it again. Ethan grabbed her wrist gently. I'm not letting him. Take you. She looked at him with heartbreak. Then run. But Ethan lifted his rifle. And leave you? Never. The warden raised his hand for the killing strike. The chamber filled with light. And then a deep, thunderous sound echoed through the underground. Not from the warden, not from Lyria, from above. The ceiling. Cracked. Someone or something had arrived. Someone who wasn't part of the warden's army. And wasn't human. Someone who came for Lyria. The chamber ceiling kept shaking. Dust poured from cracks. Ethan shielded Lyria with his body as rocks fell around them. The warden looked up sharply, red eyes narrowing. Who dares interrupt my retrieval? A beam of soft white light shot down. From the ceiling. Not harsh, not violent, gentle, like moonlight, Lyria gasped. Her markings glowed faintly in response. Ethan held her tighter. What is that? Lyria whispered, trembling. I know this light. This song. This is not the warden. This is my people. Ethan frowned. Your people? But you said. I thought we were all gone, Lyria said. But someone survived, someone strong. The light grew brighter, and a figure descended slowly through the broken ceiling. A woman tall, glowing, covered in ancient markings like Lyria's, but stronger, sharper, older. Her skin glowed like living crystal. Her eyes were deep blue galaxies. She landed gently on the crystal floor. Lyria stared at her with trembling lips. Mother! Ethan froze. The warden stiffened. The woman, Lyria's mother, smiled softly, tears gathering in her glowing eyes. My child. I searched every star for you. Lyria covered her mouth, overwhelmed. But I saw you fall. I saw you die. Her. Mother kneeled and held Lyria's face with both hands. They thought they ended us, she whispered. But they did not understand our true power. Lyria leaned into her mother's touch, crying uncontrollably. Ethan felt tears in his eyes too, because for the first time, Lyria wasn't a prisoner. She was a daughter. Her mother slowly looked at Ethan. You protected her, she said. Humans rarely do that for strangers. Ethan nodded awkwardly. She deserved protection. Her mother smiled warmly. Then you are not like the others. But the moment was shattered by a violent roar. The warden stood up, armor cracked, red eyes blazing with fury. You were erased. I destroyed your lineage. Lyria's mother stood tall, her glow intensifying. You destroyed nothing, she said. You only delayed the truth. The warden's voice thundered. She is mine. Lyria stepped behind her mother. Her mother replied calmly. She belongs to no one. The warden charged, a blur of black, metal and fury. Her mother lifted a single hand. Light exploded. The warden froze midair, his entire body locked. Trapped, held by invisible force, he screamed. Impossible. This level, this energy, you should not. Lyria's mother whispered. You enslaved us. You broke us, you hunted us. Now learn what true power looks like. She clenched her hand slowly. The warden's armor cracked. His circuits burned. Red energy flickered and died. And then he exploded into dust. The chamber fell silent. Lyria collapsed into her mother's arms, sobbing in relief. Ethan lowered his weapon, stunned. He had never seen power like this, not even in human, supermechs or elite units. Her mother turned to him once more. You saved her heart, she said. That is more important than saving her life. Lyria wiped her tears and looked at Ethan. Ethan, I want to stay with you. I want to learn. To live. Ethan smiled gently. Then stay. Her mother listened quietly, then placed a glowing hand on Lyria's head. My child, your path is yours now. She kissed Lyria's forehead and whispered, I will return for you when the stars are safe again. Lyria cried softly, but nodded. She understood. Her mother rose back into the beam of light, ascending into the sky, and just like that, she was gone. Epilogue. New hope, new everything lifted Lyria gently. Let's get you out of here, he whispered. She rested her head on his shoulder. I'm scared, she said. Ethan smiled. Good, that means you're alive. They walked through the tunnels until they reached the surface. The morning sun touched Lyria's skin for the first time in her life. She gasped softly. It's warm. Ethan nodded. Welcome to freedom. But then his communicator beeped. A message flashed on the screen. Warning. Unidentified fleet entering Earthspace. Demand. Return the girl, or we burn your planet. Ethan looked at Lyria. Lyria looked at him. Her markings glowed with fear and determination. The story wasn't over. It was just beginning.